Okay, this is how to describe animals to your students. So obviously, the students should be taught as many animals, insect, reptile, the names of all those things as much as possible, because then you can do this with more things. Okay, so the first thing we're going to do is, and in this example, I'm just using a deer. Okay, and so you wanna figure out a sequence of these uh, body parts, and because you want to make sure you hit every body part. And if you're learning the language yourself, then this will help you kind of memorize the body parts. Okay, so number one, we're going to start with the fur or the hair. So obviously not every animal or insect or reptile is going to have fur or hair, but those that do, this is the sequence you're going to use. So fur or hair is number one. The word for fur or hair is he. He. Okay, and then move to number two. Sinte. Sinte, the tail. Number three, hu, the legs. Hu. Number four is the snout or the nose or the muzzle, however you want to think about it. That is pute. Pute. Number five are the ears, nakba. Nakba. And number six, in this case, we're using this deer with horns, so we have to mention the horns. That is he. He. Okay, so now probably a good idea before you start this is to go over the animal body parts that you're going to be using for whatever animal. So he, sinte, hu, pute, nakba, he. A good exercise might be to have them draw these and then label them, or if you want to make little copies of that they can color, and so they kind of get familiar with the body parts. Now we're going to be using other vocabulary in this lesson, so it's a good idea to brush up on this. So the other vocabulary we're going to use are these words: le, this; ki, the; hecha, he, she, or it is of a certain group of something. Okay, it belongs to a certain group of something. And I will kind of explain that when we start the exercise here. Your students should already know their colors. Gris, brown, because every animal, the fur is going to be different color. For the insects, their skin, their hide, whatever, the reptiles, they're all going to have different colors, so they have to know their colors before you do this. This will help them. Ptechula, something that is short. Ptechula. Okay, and this word hanske, so this means long or tall. So it's going to be describing those body parts that are either long or tall. Now, when you look this up in the dictionary, it might be haska. All right, so that means that this ablats, that e at the end of it, okay, in the dictionary it might be an a, and when we use it in a statement, it changes to an e. So haska becomes hanske, something is long or tall. And we're going to be using this word to describe the ears, in this case, of the deer. And since there are two ears, we're going to reduplicate that word. So it's going to become hanskaska, meaning that they are long or tall. And you'll kind of see as we go along, you'll kind of catch on to that. And then the verb that we're going to be using is yukhe. Yukhe. And that means that it belongs or it exists for that whatever we're talking about. It has it. It exists for it. And you'll kind of see the way that it's used. Okay, so let's start with this. This is the exercise. So the first thing, takhja, deer. You want to get the animal names down. Takhja, deer. Okay, we can increase the sentence a little bit. Le takhja hecha. Le takhja hecha. This is a deer. So there's our le, meaning this. Takhja is the deer. Hecha means, like if you go back to the definition, it belongs to that group. So of all the deer in the world, this deer right here belongs to them. This is one of their species. Le takhja hecha. This is a deer. Takhja ki hi ri. Takhja ki hi ri. So the deer has brown fur. So what we're going to be doing is we're going to be saying the deer first. Okay, so we're going to say deer, takhja, and then ki means the. Okay, so takhja ki, the deer. And then we're going to name the body part. And we're starting, remember, in that sequence. So hi, the fur, and then the color, ri. So it's going to be the deer, a body part, and the description of that body part, whether it's a color, a number, a size, whatever. The deer has brown fur. Following that sequence, takhja ki sinte ptechla. The deer has a short tail. Takhja ki sinte ptechla. And like I said, if you're using an animal prop, you're just going to be going around and pointing at the different animal body parts and then describing them in that manner. Or if you want to put it up the big screen and use a pointer or something, you can do that. Following the sequence, takhja ki hu topa. The deer has 4 legs. Takhja ki hu topa. Takhja ki pute hanske. Takhja ki pute hanske. The deer has a long snout. Okay, so it only has 1 snout. It doesn't have 2 snouts. So we're not going to reduplicate hanske. But in this example, because it has 2 ears, we're going to reduplicate it. So takhja ki nakpa hanskanska. The deer has long ears. Takhja ki he yukhe. Takhja ki he yukhe. All right, so he is horns, and yukhe, it exists for this deer. So this, in other words, this deer has horns. Okay, so now we want to get to the point where we can hold up any animal and just use that sequence and describe it, and we want the students to be able to do that. So I'm going to go ahead and do it in Lakota, and we're going to need a little connecting word, because otherwise, we're just saying the deer has brown fur, the deer has a short tail, the deer has 4 legs, etc. So we want to add some more length. These are just like little filler words. And so na means and. So in the sequence, it'll be saying the deer has brown fur, and the deer has a short tail, and the deer has, so that's all we're doing here. Okay, so le takhja hecha. This is a deer. Le takhja hecha. Na takhja ki hi ri. Na takhja ki sinte ptechla. Na takhja ki hu topa. Na tachjaki pute hanske. Na tachjaki nakpa hanskanska. Na tachjaki he yukhe. Okay? And so that's all we did. We worked our way around that sequence. And so these are the different animals that would follow the same sequence that we just used for the deer. So we can use an elk, hechaka, we can use an antelope, nihesala, and describe it exactly how we did the deer. If you want to switch it up, we can describe the horns. Instead of just saying that it has horns, we can actually describe the horns. Okay, so in the case of the elk, hechaka, so we can, when we get, everything's going to stay the same. Hechi na sinte ptechla na hutopa na pute hanske na nakpa hanskanska. And then when we get to the horns, instead of just saying he you khe, which you could do if you want, but we can reduplicate it, all right? And you know how to reduplicate it now. So he hanskanska, its horns are long, all right? And then with the antelope, the horns are short, so it'll be the same description all the way around, but when we get to the horns, and then we know how to say ptechela, which is short, so now we're going to reduplicate that, and we'll say ptechela, ptechela, okay? And so we just reduplicated. Okay, so that will get you at least those 3 animals. And of course, even the buffalo could fall into this. Okay, so, and I'll give you some examples the more that we go, but this should get you started on describing the different body parts, colors, size, shape, just very simple stuff, but we're trying to get the students to increase the use of the language, and we want to get them to the point where they can pick up one of these animals and then describe it.